One thing I love about physical therapy is we tend to be great problem solvers. We look at things from a different perspective, we come up with an action plan, and we execute on that action plan. So in this video series, what I want to do is I want to share a couple recommendations on how we can increase the profitability of your physical therapy practice, whether you're a mobile therapist or a brick and mortar therapist or even a cash-based therapist, and how you can use that to fight the impending coming Medicare cuts and reimbursement and probably associated other third-party payer cuts. So guys, if you don't know me, my name's Tony Maritato. I'm a licensed physical therapist and private practice owner, and this channel is dedicated to helping clinicians, PTs, OTs, and SLPs improve their personal financial freedom by learning how to take control of their future, their careers. So let's talk about the absolute easiest strategy to increase profitability. And when I share these examples, I want you to understand I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not even telling you this is a good idea. I'm saying let's look at the farthest possible thing that we can see on the horizon, and then let's maybe scale it back a little bit. So what do I mean by that? If you look at the Medicare reimbursement for 2022 here in Ohio, the reimbursement for a participating provider treating a Medicare beneficiary is $98 and change for the initial evaluation, regardless of minimum, moderate, or high complexity. So if I was looking at a business objectively, I would say, okay, so a minimum complexity initial evaluation reimburses about $98. So let's roughly round that up to $100. If the visit is only the evaluation CPT code, no other treatment codes in that service, there is no effect of MPPR. If you don't know what MPPR is, I've got other videos on the channel explaining it. But basically, we get the full out amount of the highest first relative value unit. So if I only do an eval and I only bill the CPT code for the eval, I get the full allowed amount for that 20 minutes of time. Now, even though technically the evaluation is an untimed code, I am a therapist just like you. I am conservative by nature just like you. So I'm still going to go on the conservative route and say, I'm going to dedicate 20 minutes to this evaluation. Now, I technically could do 3 evaluations an hour. An hour is 60 minutes. Still is. 20 minutes per eval, 3 evals per hour. You're probably saying, well, Tony, it's ridiculous. Who would ever want to do that? That's a miserable livelihood. Well, let's talk about maybe opening a new market, a new demographic. What about all of the individuals that have Medicare as a primary insurance and a supplemental as a secondary? They don't want to come to therapy. I'm not talking about the ones that do. I'm talking about the demographic within this cohort, those individuals who do not want to come to therapy. In their mind, they've had a referral for physical therapy. They don't want to come to physical therapy. They don't know that there's an alternative to coming and doing 2 sessions a week for 12 weeks like is written on the referral. We could target a demographic within this community that would benefit from a 20-minute consultation evaluation with a therapist, and that's it. Nothing else. During that evaluation, you provide them the education they need, you answer the questions, you deliver the peace of mind. They are happy, they receive the services, and if there is something that's indicated for further follow-up, you can make those recommendations. But as it is right now, you can even make those recommendations because those patients are not coming to you, because those patients have a piece of paper in their hand that says they need therapy 2 times a week for 4 weeks, and they don't want to do it. So you're opening the door to say, okay, how about 20 minutes? How about you come see me for 20 minutes? I will not make you exercise. I will simply answer your questions, complete my evaluation, and then give you the freedom to make the decision you want. I think I can do that in 20 minutes. I think I can do that 3 times in an hour. And so if we looked at that and we said, okay, $100 an hour, no MPPR, I'm barely even making a plan of care based on Medicare guidelines. If I'm only doing an eval and no treatment, there is no plan of care. The referral satisfies the requirement of certification for that. I've got very little documentation on that, right? There isn't a whole lot I need to write up. So I do 3 an hour, that's $300 an hour. If I do 10 hours like that a week, 10 out of 40, that's producing $3,000 a week. You know, we're looking at over 4 weeks in a month. We're looking at 49 weeks of that a year. Even if I said 50 weeks of that, that's $150,000. $150,000 working 10 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, simply serving a group within a demographic that's otherwise not going to physical therapy. Do you see how that works? And now I've got 30 more hours a week to do almost anything that I want, because if I'm generating pretty much a full-time salary in 10 hours a week, that gives me a lot of freedom. That gives me a lot of room to play with other stuff. Now, hopefully you're looking at that and you're saying, yeah, but that means that you need to have 30 referrals a week to keep that kind of schedule. Yeah, you do. But you know what? That's a different problem. That's a marketing problem. That's a communication problem. That can be solved. That is not a reimbursement problem. And I think too many of us are looking at Medicare cuts, we're looking at third-party regulation, we're looking at all these other things. We're really good at seeing the problems, but we're not always good at applying our clinical brain to the business and using our problem-solving skills to look at things differently. I think that something like this, on a conservative basis, easily can add $100,000 a year in virtually pure profit. Let me put this one other way. Imagine you're going to hire a therapist and you're going to pay a therapist $100 an hour, between like salary and benefits and compensation for everything, whatever. $100 an hour. I think that's a pretty good salary for an outpatient orthopedic therapist working in a clinic. All they would need to do is one of those evals an hour, and it completely covers their cost. And then the other 2/3 of the hour would cover overhead, utilities, cost of operations, and profit. I mean, when we have challenges in the profession, we need to just look at things from a different perspective. Guys, if that makes sense to you, do me a favor, show me that it makes sense. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Take a look at this video right here. This is one that YouTube is recommending for you to see after this one based on your watch history. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll catch you on my next video.